Queen are a British rock band formed in London in 1970. The band comprised Freddie Mercury, Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon. Their earliest works were influenced by progressive rock, hard rock, and heavy metal, but the band gradually ventured into more conventional and radio-friendly works by incorporating further styles, such as arena rock and pop rock. Before forming Queen, May and Taylor had played together in the band Smile. Mercury was a fan of Smile and encouraged them to experiment with more elaborate stage and recording techniques. He joined in 1970 and suggested the name Queen. Deacon was recruited in February 1971, before the band released their eponymous debut album in 1973. Queen first charted in the UK with their second album, Queen 2, in 1974. Sheer Heart Attack later that year and A Night at the Opera in 1975 brought them international success. The latter featured Bohemian Rhapsody, which stayed at number 1 in the UK for 9 weeks and helped popularize the music video format. The band's 1977 album News of the World contained We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, which have become anthems at sporting events. By the early 1980s, Queen were one of the biggest stadium rock bands in the world. Another One Bites the Dust from the Game became their best-selling single, while their 1981 compilation album Greatest Hits is the best-selling album in the UK and is certified 9 times platinum in the US. Their performance at the 1985 Live Aid concert is ranked among the greatest in rock history by various publications. In August 1986, Mercury gave his last performance with Queen at Knebworth, England. In 1991, he died of bronchopneumonia, a complication of AIDS. Deacon retired in 1997. Since 2004, May and Taylor have toured as Queen Plus, with vocalists Paul Rodgers and Adam Lambert. Queen have been a global presence in popular culture for more than 5 decades. Estimates of their record sales range from 250 million to 300 million, making them one of the world's best-selling music artists. In 1990, Queen received the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to British Music. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001, and with each member having composed hit singles, all 4 were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2003. In 2005 they received the Ivor Novello Award for Outstanding Song Collection from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors, and in 2018 they were presented the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. History 1968–1971, Foundations. The founding members of Queen met in West London during the late 1960s. Guitarist Brian May had built his own guitar with his father in 1963, and formed the group 1984 the following year with singer Tim Staffell. May left the group in early 1968 to focus on his degree in physics and infrared astronomy at Imperial College and find a group that could write original material. He formed the group Smile with Staffell and keyboardist Chris Smith. To complete the lineup, May placed an advertisement on a college notice board for a Mitch Mitchell/Ginger Baker type drummer. Roger Taylor, a young dental student, auditioned and got the job. Smith left the group in early 1969, immediately before a gig at the Royal Albert Hall with Free and the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band. While attending Ealing Art College in West London, Staffell became friends with fellow student Freddie Bulsara, who was from Zanzibar and of Indian Parsi descent. Bulsara had studied fashion design for a year before switching to graphic art and design, and soon became a keen fan of Smile. He asked if he could join the group as lead singer, but May felt Staffell would not give up that role. He also ran a stall in Kensington Market with Taylor. In 1970, Staffell quit Smile, feeling his interests in soul and R&B clashed with the group's hard rock sound and being fed up with the lack of success. He formed the group Humpy Bong with former Bee Gees drummer Colin Peterson. The remaining members accepted Bulsara as lead singer, and recruited Taylor's friend Mike Gross as bassist. The four played their first gig at a fundraising event in Truro on June 27, 1970. Bulsara suggested the group should be renamed to Queen. The others were uncertain at first, but he said, "It's wonderful, dear, people will love it." At the same time, he decided to change his surname to Mercury, inspired by the line "Mother Mercury, look what they've done to me" in the song My Fairy King. The group played their first London gig on July 18. The early set consisted of material that would later appear on the first two albums, along with various rock and roll covers, such as Cliff Richard and the Shadows' Please Don't Tease. They attracted the attention of producer John Anthony, who was interested in the group's sound but thought they had the wrong bass player. After 3 live gigs, Mike Gross decided not to continue with the band and was replaced by Barry Mitchell on bass guitar. Mitchell played 13 gigs with Queen between August 1970 to January 1971. In turn, Barry Mitchell left in January 1971 and was replaced by Doug Bogie for 2 live gigs. 1971–1974, I Queen/I and I Queen II/I. None. 1974–1976, I Sheer Heart Attack/I to I A Night at the Opera/I. None. 1976–1979, I A Day at the Races/I to I Live Killers/I. None. 1980–1982, I The Game/I, I Hot Space/I and Stadium Tours. None. 1983–1984, I The Works/I. None. 1985–1986, Live Aid, I A Kind of Magic/I and Tours. None. 1988–1992, I The Miracle/I, I Innuendo/I and Mercury's Final Years. None. 1995–2003, I Made in Heaven/I to 46,664 concert. None. 2004–2009, Queen and Paul Rogers. At the end of 2004, May and Taylor announced that they would reunite and return to touring in 2005 with Paul Rogers. Brian May's website also stated that Rogers would be featured with Queen as Queen and Paul Rogers, not replacing Mercury. Deacon, who was retired, did not participate. In November 2004, Queen were among the inaugural inductees into the UK Music Hall of Fame, and the award ceremony was the first event at which Rogers joined May and Taylor as vocalist. Between 2005 and 2006, Queen and Paul Rogers embarked on a world tour, which was the first time Queen toured since their last tour with Freddie Mercury in 1986. Taylor said, "We never thought we would tour again. Paul came along by chance and we seemed to have a chemistry. Paul is just such a great singer. He's not trying to be Freddie." The first leg was in Europe, the second in Japan, and the third in the US in 2006. Queen received the inaugural VH1 Rock Honors at the Mandalay Bay Events Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, on May 25, 2006. Foo Fighters paid homage, performing Tie Your Mother Down to open the ceremony before being joined on stage by May, Taylor, and Rogers, who played a selection of Queen hits. On August 15, 2006, May confirmed through his website and fan club that Queen and Paul Rogers would begin producing their first studio album beginning in October, to be recorded at a secret location. Queen and Paul Rogers performed at the Nelson Mandela 90th birthday tribute held in Hyde Park, London on June 27, 2008, to commemorate Mandela's 90th birthday, and again promote awareness of the HIV/AIDS pandemic. The first Queen and Paul Rogers album, titled The Cosmos Rocks, was released in Europe on September 12, 2008 and in the United States on October 28, 2008. Following the release of the album, the band again went on a tour through Europe, opening on Kharkiv's Freedom Square in front of 350,000 Ukrainian fans. The Kharkiv concert was later released on DVD. The tour then moved to Russia, and the band performed 2 sold-out shows at the Moscow Arena. Having completed the first leg of its extensive European tour, which saw the band play 15 sold-out dates across 9 countries, the UK leg of the tour sold out within 90 minutes of going on sale and included 3 London dates, the first of which was the O2 Arena on October 13. The last leg of the tour took place in South America, and included a sold-out concert at Jose Amalfitani Stadium, Buenos Aires. Queen and Paul Rodgers officially split up without animosity on May 12, 2009. Rodgers stated, "My arrangement with was similar to my arrangement with Jimmy in the firm in that it was never meant to be a permanent arrangement." Rodgers did not rule out the possibility of working with Queen again. 2009-2011, departure from EMI, 40th anniversary. On May 20, 2009, May and Taylor performed We Are the Champions Live on the season finale of American Idol with winner Chris Allen and runner-up Adam Lambert providing a vocal duet. In mid-2009, after the split of Queen and Paul Rodgers, the Queen online website announced a new greatest hits compilation named Absolute Greatest. The album was released on November 16 and peaked at number 3 in the official UK chart. The album contains 20 of Queen's biggest hits spanning their entire career and was released in 4 different formats: single disc, double disc with feature book, and a vinyl record. Before its release, Queen ran an online competition to guess the track listing as a promotion for the album. On October 30, 2009, May wrote a fan club letter on his website stating that Queen had no intentions to tour in 2010 but that there was a possibility of a performance. On November 15, 2009, May and Taylor performed Bohemian Rhapsody Live on the British TV show The X Factor alongside the finalists. On May 7, 2010, May and Taylor announced that they were quitting their record label, EMI, after almost 40 years. On August 20, 2010, Queen's manager Jim Beach put out a newsletter stating that the band had signed a new contract with Universal Music. During an interview for Hard Talk on the BBC on September 22, May confirmed that the band's new deal was with Island Records, a subsidiary of Universal Music Group. Hollywood Records remained as the group's label in the United States and Canada, however. As such, for the first time since the late 1980s, Queen's catalog now has the same distributor worldwide, as Universal distributes for both the Island and Hollywood labels. On March 14, 2011, which marked the band's 40th anniversary, Queen's first 5 albums were re-released in the UK and some other territories as remastered deluxe editions. The second 5 albums of Queen's back catalogue were released worldwide on June 27, with the exception of the US and Canada. The final 5 were released in the UK on 5 September. In May 2011, Jane's Addiction vocalist Perry Farrell noted that Queen are currently scouting their once former and current live bassist Chris Chaney to join the band. Farrell stated, "I have to keep Chris away from Queen, who want him and they're not gonna get him unless we're not doing anything. Then they can have him." In the same month, Paul Rodgers stated he may tour with Queen again in the near future. At the 2011 Broadcast Music Incorporated Awards held in London on October 4, Queen received the BMI Icon Award in recognition for their airplay success in the US. At the 2011 MTV Europe Music Awards on November 6, Queen received the Global Icon Award, which Katy Perry presented to Brian May. Queen closed the awards ceremony, with Adam Lambert on vocals, performing The Show Must Go On, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. The collaboration garnered a positive response from both fans and critics, resulting in speculation about future projects together. 2011 present, Queen and Adam Lambert, I Queen Forever / I. None. Music style and influences. Queen drew artistic influence from British rock acts of the 1960s and early 1970s, such as the Beatles, the Kinks, Cream, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, The Who, Black Sabbath, Slade, Deep Purple, David Bowie, Genesis and Yes, with Mercury also inspired by the rock and roll singers Little Richard, Elvis Presley, and the gospel singer Aretha Franklin. On the Beatles, Brian May stated they built our Bible as far as musical composition, arrangement, and production went. The White Album is a complete catalog of how you should use a studio to build songs. Mercury said, John Lennon was larger than life, and an absolute genius. Even at a very early stage when they were the Beatles, I always preferred John Lennon's things. I don't know why. He just had that magic. May and Mercury were influenced by Jimi Hendrix, with Mercury saying he really had everything any rock and roll star should have, and May saying Jimi is, of course, my number one. And I've always said that I never stop learning from Jimi. Mercury's thesis for his Ealing College degree was on Hendrix, and Mercury and Taylor closed their Kensington Market stall on September 18, 1970 to commemorate his death. At their outset in the early 1970s, Queen's music has been characterized as Led Zeppelin meets Yes due to its combination of acoustic/electric guitar extremes and fantasy-inspired multi-part song epics. Although Mercury stated Robert Plant as his favorite singer and Led Zeppelin as the greatest rock band, he also said Queen have more in common with Liza Minnelli than Led Zeppelin. We're more in the showbiz tradition than the rock and roll tradition. In his book on essential hard rock and heavy metal, Eddie Trunk described Queen as a hard rock band at the core but one with a high level of majesty and theatricality that delivered a little something for everyone, as well as observing that the band sounded British. Rob Halford of Judas Priest commented, "It's rare that you struggle to label a band. If you're a heavy metal band you're meant to look and sound like a heavy metal band but you can't really call Queen anything. They could be a pop band one day or the band that wrote Bicycle Race the next and a full-blown metal band the next." In terms of the depth of the musical landscape that they covered, it was very similar to some extent to the Beatles. While stating they were influenced by various artists and genres, Joe Bosso of Guitar World magazine writes, Queen seemed to occupy their own lane. Queen composed music that drew inspiration from many different genres of music, often with a tongue-in-cheek attitude. The music styles and genres they have been associated with include progressive rock, art rock, glam rock, arena rock, heavy metal, operatic pop, pop rock, psychedelic rock, baroque pop, and rockabilly. Queen also wrote songs that were inspired by diverse musical styles which are not typically associated with rock groups, such as opera, music hall, folk music, gospel, ragtime, and dance/disco. Their 1980 single Another One Bites the Dust became a major hit single in the funk rock genre. Several Queen songs were written with audience participation in mind, such as We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. Similarly, Radio Gaga became a live favorite because it would have crowds clapping like they were at a Nuremberg rally. In 1963, the teenage Brian May and his father custom-built his signature guitar Red Special, which was purposely designed to feedback. May has used Vox AC30 amplifiers almost exclusively since a meeting with his longtime hero Rory Gallagher at a gig in London during the late 1960s/early 1970s. He also uses a sixpence as a plectrum to get the sound he wants. Sonic experimentation figured heavily in Queen's songs. A distinctive characteristic of Queen's music are the vocal harmonies, which are usually composed of the voices of May, Mercury, and Taylor, best heard on the studio albums A Night at the Opera and A Day at the Races. Some of the groundwork for the development of this sound is attributed to the producer Roy Thomas Baker and engineer Mike Stone. Besides vocal harmonies, Queen were also known for multi-tracking voices to imitate the sound of a large choir through overdubs. For instance, according to Brian May, there are over 180 vocal overdubs in Bohemian Rhapsody. The band's vocal structures have been compared with the Beach Boys. Media. Logo. Having studied graphic design in art college, Mercury also designed Queen's logo, called the Queen Crest, shortly before the release of the band's first album. The logo combines the zodiac signs of all four members, 2 lions for Leo, a crab for Cancer, and 2 fairies for Virgo. The lions embrace a stylized letter Q, the crab rests atop the letter with flames rising directly above it, and the fairies are each sheltering below a lion. There is also a crown inside the Q, and the whole logo is overshadowed by an enormous phoenix. The whole symbol bears a passing resemblance to the royal coat of arms of the United Kingdom, particularly with the lion supporters. The original logo, as found on the reverse side of the cover of the band's first album, was a simple line drawing. Later sleeves bore more intricate colored versions of the logo. Music videos. Directed by Bruce Gowers, the groundbreaking Bohemian Rhapsody promotional video sees the band adopt a decadent glam sensibility. Replicating Mick Rock's photograph of the band from the cover of Queen II, which itself was inspired by a photo of actress Marlene Dietrich from Shanghai Express, the video opens with Queen standing in diamond formation, heads tilted back like Easter Island statues in near darkness as they sing the a cappella part. One of the industry's leading music video directors, David Mallet, directed a number of their subsequent videos. Some of their later videos use footage from classic films. Under Pressure incorporates 1920s silent films, Sergei Eisenstein's Battleship Potemkin and F.W. Murnau's Nosferatu. The 1984 video for Radio GAGA includes footage from Fritz Lang's Metropolis. Calling All Girls was a homage to George Lucas's THX 1138, and the 1995 video Heaven for Everyone shows footage from George's Melly's A Trip to the Moon and the Impossible Voyage. The first part of Mallet's music video for I Want to Break Free spoofed the popular long-running British soap opera Coronation Street. The music video for Innuendo combines stop-motion animation with rotoscoping, and band members appear as illustrations and images taken from earlier Queen music videos on a cinema screen akin to the dystopian film 1984. The music videos for Flash and Princes of the Universe are themed on the films the band recorded soundtracks for, with the latter featuring Mercury briefly reenact the sword-fighting scene with the titular character. Queen also appeared in conventional music videos. We Will Rock You was filmed outdoors in Roger Taylor's back garden during a cold day in early January 1977. Filmed at the New London Theatre later that year, the music video for We Are the Champions features the band with Mercury in a trademark Harlequin outfit performing in front of an enthusiastic crowd who wave Queen scarves in a manner similar to English football fans. The last music video of the group while Mercury was alive, These Are the Days of Our Lives, was filmed in black and white to hide the full extent of his illness. Musical theatre. In May 2002, a musical or rock theatrical based on the songs of Queen, titled We Will Rock You, opened at the Dominion Theatre in London's West End. The musical was written by British comedian and author Ben Elton in collaboration with Brian May and Roger Taylor, and produced by Robert De Niro. It has since been staged in many cities around the world. The launch of the musical coincided with Queen Elizabeth II's Golden Jubilee. As part of the Jubilee celebrations, Brian May performed a guitar solo of God Save the Queen, as featured on Queen's A Night at the Opera, from the roof of Buckingham Palace. The recording of this performance was used as video for the song on the 30th anniversary DVD edition of A Night at the Opera. Following the Las Vegas premiere on September 8, 2004, Queen were inducted into the Hollywood Rock Walk in Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles. The original London production was scheduled to close on Saturday, October 7, 2006, at the Dominion Theatre, but due to public demand, the show ran until May 2014. We Will Rock You has become the longest-running musical ever to run at this prime London theatre, overtaking the previous record holder, the musical Grease. Brian May stated in 2008 that they were considering writing a sequel to We Will Rock You. The musical toured around the UK in 2009, playing at Manchester Palace Theatre, Sunderland Empire, Birmingham Hippodrome, Bristol Hippodrome, and Edinburgh Playhouse. Sean Bovim created Queen at the Ballet, a tribute to Mercury, which uses Queen's music as a soundtrack for the show's dancers, who interpret the stories behind tracks such as Bohemian Rhapsody, Radio Gaga, and Killer Queen. Queen's music also appears in the off-Broadway production Power Ballads, most notably the song We Are the Champions, with the show's two performers believing the song was the apex of artistic achievement in its day. Software and digital releases. In conjunction with Electronic Arts, Queen released the computer game Queen, the Eye in 1998. The game received mixed reviews. Several reviewers described the fight sequences as frustrating, due to unresponsive controls and confusing camera angles. PC Zone found the game's graphics unimpressive, although PC Power Play considered them absolutely stunning. The extremely long development time resulted in graphic elements that already seemed outdated by the time of release. Under the supervision of May and Taylor, numerous restoration projects have been underway involving Queen's lengthy audio and video catalog. DVD releases of their 1986 Wembley concert, 1982 Milton Keynes concert, and two greatest video hits have seen the band's music remixed into 5.1 and DT's surround sound. So far, only two of the band's albums, A Night at the Opera and The Game, have been fully remixed into high-resolution multi-channel surround on DVD audio. A Night at the Opera was re-released with some revised 5.1 mixes and accompanying videos in 2005 for the 30th anniversary of the album's original release. In 2007, a Blu-ray edition of Queen's previously released concerts, Queen Rock Montreal and Live Aid, was released, marking their first project in 1080 PhD. Queen have been featured multiple times in the Guitar Hero franchise, a cover of Killer Queen in the original Guitar Hero, We Are the Champions, Fat Bottomed Girls, and the Paul Rogers collaboration Celebrity in a track pack for Guitar Hero World Tour, Under Pressure with David Bowie in Guitar Hero 5, I Want It All in Guitar Hero, Van Halen, Stone Cold Crazy in Guitar Hero, Metallica, and Bohemian Rhapsody in Guitar Hero, Warriors of Rock. On October 13, 2009, Brian May revealed there was talk going on behind the scenes about a dedicated Queen rock band game. Queen have also been featured multiple times in the Rock Band franchise, a track pack of 10 songs which are compatible with Rock Band 2, and Rock Band 3. Their hit Bohemian Rhapsody was featured in Rock Band 3 with full harmony and keys support. The band also appeared in the video game Lego Rock Band as playable Lego avatars. In March 2009, Sony Computer Entertainment released a Queen-branded version of the company's karaoke franchise, SingStar. The game, which is available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, is titled SingStar Queen and has 25 songs on the PS3 and 20 on the PS2. We Will Rock You and other songs by Queen also appear in DJ Hero. One Vision was featured on the successful video game Grand Theft Auto 4 on the fictional radio station Liberty Rock Radio 97.8, while Radio GAGA features on Grand Theft Auto V character trailer for Michael and the game's soundtrack. Bohemian Rhapsody / None. Other films. The soundtrack for the film Flash Gordon was by Queen. The band also contributed music to Highlander, With a Kind of Magic, 1 Year of Love, Who Wants to Live Forever, Hammer to Fall, and the theme Princes of the Universe, which was also used as the theme of the Highlander TV series. In choosing music for Highlander, director Russell Mulcahy stated, "I thought about one band, Queen. They write strong, anthemic songs and this movie needs their energy." In the United States, Bohemian Rhapsody was re-released as a single in 1992 after appearing in the comedy film Wayne's World. The single subsequently reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and helped rekindle the band's popularity in North America. Several films have featured their songs performed by other artists. A version of Somebody to Love by Anne Hathaway was in the 2004 film Ella Enchanted. In 2006, Brittany Murphy also recorded a cover of the same song for the 2006 film Happy Feet. In 2001, a version of The Show Must Go On was performed by Jim Broadbent and Nicole Kidman in the film musical Moulin Rouge. The 2001 film A Knight's Tale has a version of We Are the Champions performed by Robbie Williams and Queen. The film also features We Will Rock You played by the medieval audience. Television. I Was Born to Love You was used as the theme song of the Japanese television drama Pride on Fuji Television in 2004, starring Takeya Kimura and Iko Takuchi. The show's soundtrack also contained other songs by Queen. A song that has grown in popularity for decades since its release, the initial rebirth of Don't Stop Me Now has been attributed to its appearance in the 2004 cult classic zombie apocalypse film Shaun of the Dead. The song has featured in the BBC television show Top Gear, and in 2005 it was voted as the greatest driving song ever by the series viewers. Keeping in a tradition of naming each season's episodes after songs by 1970s rock bands, the 8th and final season of that 70s show had episodes named after Queen songs. Bohemian Rhapsody served as the season premiere. With an entry for the year 1977, Queen featured in the VH1 series I Love the 70s, broadcast in the US. The Simpsons has made storylines which have featured Queen songs such as We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, and You're My Best Friend. The latter also appears in Family Guy, as does another One Bites the Dust, while an episode of the show, Killer Queen, is named after the song. Queen were profiled in Season 1, Episode 16 of VH1's Legends, broadcast in 1998. On April 11, 2006, Brian May and Roger Taylor appeared on the American singing contest television show American Idol. Each contestant was required to sing a Queen song during that week of the competition. Songs which appeared on the show included Bohemian Rhapsody, Fat Bottomed Girls, The Show Must Go On, Who Wants to Live Forever, and Innuendo. Brian May later criticized the show for editing specific scenes, one of which made the group's time with contestant Ace Young look negative, despite it being the opposite. Taylor and May again appeared on the American Idol Season 8 finale in May 2009, performing We Are the Champions with finalists Adam Lambert and Chris Allen. On November 15, 2009, Brian May and Roger Taylor appeared on the singing contest television show The X Factor in the UK. In 2007, Queen featured as one of the main artists in the 5th episode of the BBC/VH1 series 7 Ages of Rock focusing on stadium rock. The episode itself was named We Are the Champions. In the autumn of 2009, Glee featured the fictional high school show choir singing Somebody to Love as their second act performance in the episode The Road's Not Taken. The performance was included on the show's Volume 1 soundtrack CD. In June 2010, the choir performed another One Bites the Dust in the episode Funk. The following week's episode, Journey to Regionals, features a rival choir performing Bohemian Rhapsody in its entirety. The song was featured on the episode's EP. In May 2012, the choir performed We Are the Champions in the episode Nationals, and the song features in the graduation album. Legacy. In 2002, Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody was voted the UK's favourite hit of all time in a poll conducted by the Guinness World Records British Hit Singles Book. In 2004, the song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Many scholars consider the Bohemian Rhapsody music video groundbreaking, crediting it with popularizing the medium. Rock historian Paul Fowles stated that the song is widely credited as the first global hit single for which an accompanying video was central to the marketing strategy. It has been hailed as paving the way for the MTV generation. In December 2018, Bohemian Rhapsody became the most streamed song from the 20th century, and the most streamed classic rock song of all time. The number of downloads of the song and original video exceeded 1.6 billion across global on-demand streaming services. In March 2021 it was certified Diamond in the US for combined digital sales and streams equal to 10 million units. Acclaimed for their stadium rock, in 2005 an industry poll ranked Queen's performance at Live Aid in 1985 as the best live act in history. In 2007, they were also voted the greatest British band in history by BBC Radio 2 listeners. As of 2005, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, Queen albums have spent a total of 1,322 weeks on the UK album charts, more time than any other act. Also in 2005, with the release of their live album with Paul Rodgers, Queen moved into third place on the list of acts with the most aggregate time spent on the British record charts. In 2022, Greatest Hits was the best-selling album in UK chart history, and the only album to sell over 7 million copies in the UK. As of August 2022, the album has spent over 500 weeks on the US Billboard 200. Their Greatest Hits 2 album is the UK's 10th bestseller, with sales of 3,746,404 copies. Based on record sales, Billboard charts performance, online views, and popularity on Spotify, in 2018 Business Insider in the US ranked Queen the third most popular rock band of all time, after the Beatles and Led Zeppelin. The band have released a total of 18 number one albums, 18 number one singles, and 10 number one DVDs worldwide, making them one of the world's best-selling music artists. Estimates of their record sales range from 250 million to 300 million worldwide. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001, the band is the only group in which every member has composed more than one chart-topping single, and all four members were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2003. In 2009, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions were inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, and the latter was voted the world's favorite song in a 2005 Sony Ericsson Global Music poll. The band received Ivor Novello Awards for Outstanding Contribution to British Music, in 1987, and Outstanding Song Collection, in 2005, from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors. In recognition of the vocal harmonies of Mercury, May, and Taylor, in 2006 Queen were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. In 2018 they were presented the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. In their top 10 list for the Global Recording Artist of the Year, the IFPI named Queen the 6th best-selling artist worldwide in 2018, and the 5th best-selling artist in 2019, in both cases the most popular act of their contemporaries. In January 2020, Queen became the first band to join Queen Elizabeth II on a British coin. Issued by the Royal Mint, the commemorative £5 coin features the instruments of all 4 members of the band. In July 2020, Queen became the 3rd band to feature on a series of UK postage stamps issued by the Royal Mail. Queen are one of the most bootlegged bands ever, according to Nick Weymouth, who manages the band's official website. A 2001 survey discovered the existence of 12,225 websites dedicated to Queen bootlegs, the highest number for any band. Bootleg recordings have contributed to the band's popularity in certain countries where Western music is censored, such as Iran. In a project called Queen, the Top 100 Bootlegs, many of these have been made officially available to download for a nominal fee from Queen's website, with profits going to the Mercury Phoenix Trust. In 2004, Queen became the first Western rock act to be officially accepted in Iran following the release of their Greatest Hits album. Rolling Stone ranked Queen at number 52 on its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time, while ranking Mercury the 18th greatest singer, and May the 26th greatest guitarist. Rolling Stone readers voted Mercury the 2nd greatest frontman. Queen were named 13th on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Hard Rock list, and in 2010 were ranked 17th on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of All Time list. In 2012, Gigwise readers named Queen the best band of the past 60 years. Eddie Trunk argued that Queen's importance, in common with Thin Lizzy and Deep Purple, was not as fully recognized in the United States because elsewhere they often played to much bigger crowds in stadium venues. Queen had stopped touring the US in 1982 as their success there had started to wane, but they remained a touring juggernaut, filling stadiums and arenas internationally in the 1980s until their final tour in 1986. Influence. Queen have been credited with making a significant contribution to genres such as hard rock and heavy metal. The band have been cited as an influence by many other musicians. Moreover, like their music, the bands and artists that have claimed to be influenced by Queen or have expressed admiration for them are diverse, spanning different generations, countries, and genres, including heavy metal, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Dream Theater, Trivium, Megadeth, Anthrax, Melvins, Slipknot, Rob Zombie, and Rage Against the Machine, hard rock, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Steve Vai, The Cult, The Darkness, Kid Rock, and Foo Fighters, alternative rock, Nirvana. Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails, Muse, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jane's Addiction, The Flaming Lips, and Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins, shock rock, Marilyn Manson, pop rock, The Killers, My Chemical Romance, and Panic! At the Disco, country, Faith Hill, and Carrie Underwood, pop, George Michael, Robbie Williams, Adele, Lady Gaga, and Katy Perry, K-pop, Psy, and BTS, and hip-hop, Lil Nas X. Musicians have been saying for decades Queen are in the pantheon of all-time greats. In the countless interviews I have done over the years they have been name-checked by numerous superstars. What is most impressive though is the diversity of artists they've influenced. Why Queen were able to cut across such an incredibly wide range of musicians is easy to see. They are one of the most versatile bands that rock has ever had. In the early 1970s, Queen helped spur the heavy metal genre's evolution by discarding much of its blues influence. Queen's 1974 song Stone Cold Crazy has been cited as a precursor of speed metal. Metallica recorded a cover version of Stone Cold Crazy, which first appeared on the Rubaiyat, Elektra's 40th anniversary album in 1990, and they still performed it live in the 2000s. Swedish guitarist Yngwie Malmsteen, a pioneer of neoclassical metal, listened to Queen as a kid, and spoke of Brian May being very inventive when it comes to tones and having all those pickup configurations. Brian tends not to stick to just pentatonics, either, he mixes it all up, which is how I like to think, too. Tom York of Radiohead received his first guitar at 7 years old, encouraged after seeing May in a broadcast of a Queen concert. At 10 years old, York made his own homemade guitar, trying to imitate what May had done with his Red Special, but he was not satisfied with the result. Subsequently, Queen was one of the first influences of his band. Band members. Current members: Brian May lead guitar, keyboards, synthesizer, backing and lead vocals. Roger Taylor drums, percussion, backing and lead vocals, keyboards, synthesizer, bass, rhythm guitar. Former members: Freddie Mercury lead and backing vocals, keyboards, piano, occasional acoustic guitar. John Deacon bass, rhythm guitar, keyboards, synthesizer, occasional backing vocals. Long-term Queen and vocalists: Paul Rodgers lead vocals, rhythm guitar, keyboards, piano. Adam Lambert lead vocals. Current touring members: Spike Edney keyboards, piano, synthesizer, rhythm guitar, backing vocals. Neil Fairclough bass, backing vocals. Tyler Warren percussion, drums, backing vocals. Former touring members: Morgan Fisher keyboards, piano, synthesizer. Fred Mondell keyboards, piano, synthesizer. David Groman bass, occasional backing vocals. Jamie Moses rhythm guitar, backing vocals. Danny Miranda bass, backing vocals. Neil Murray bass. Rufus Tiger Taylor percussion, drums, backing vocals. Early members: Mike Gross bass. Barry Mitchell bass. Doug Bogie bass. Timeline. Awards and nominations. Discography. Studio albums.